people have a chance to speak to a wider audience, and being able to be somebody who can present yourself coherently and persuasively and memorably, it's a great skill to have.
John, it's an absolute pleasure to have you join Dukascopy TV today, and we're going to focus on public speaking, look at a few of the kind of myths, and then you can give us some tips and some advice as well.
Sure.
So I thought we'd start off by asking the question that everyone really asks, so why is public speaking so important, and is it becoming more important or less important?
I think public speaking's always been important for a lot of reasons. If you've got an idea to sell, if you've got a service to provide, a product that you make, or even selling yourself in a job interview, public speaking is hugely important. And in a way, it's becoming more important now, I would say, because with technology giving us access to people around the world through Skype, through webinars, people have a chance to speak to a wider audience, and being able to be somebody who can present yourself coherently and persuasively and memorably, it's a great skill to have.
So moving on, I wanted to think about what some of the misconceptions people have about public speaking and sort of the most common questions that are asked to you.
A lot of people, there's so many misconceptions. I mean, one of the misconceptions that really comes up a lot, people tend to say, should I ever use PowerPoint, for example, in a presentation? I hear PowerPoint is bad, and I've seen bad PowerPoint presentations. Should I use it? And the fact of the matter is, PowerPoint is great. It's a great tool if you use it properly. You don't want to use it incorrectly. You don't want to overload slides with too much information. Another thing is, a lot of people feel that, how am I going to be perceived by the audience? And really, in my experience, audiences are fairly forgiving of public speakers if they see that the person has really made an effort to prepare, that the person is really trying to give something of value to the audience. Audiences are usually pretty supportive.
So you mentioned like PowerPoints and things like that. That could obviously help someone who's less comfortable with public speaking. Can anyone be taught to do public speaking well, or are there some people who?
No, well, there's
lost causes.
There's a great quote by the American poet Ralph Waldo Emerson. He said, "All the great speakers were bad speakers at first," and it's a skill. It's a skill like any other. You want to be a good writer, you have to write. If you want to be a good speaker, you need to practice. You need to get up on stage, try it out. Look at yourself on video if you can, refine, get feedback, and just keep doing it. It's interesting, you mentioned about PowerPoint being there, and yes, it can help a speaker, but a lot of speakers make the mistake of using PowerPoint as their notes. And really, PowerPoint should be there for the audience as a support to the speaker. PowerPoint isn't the presentation. You, the speaker, are the most important part.
So what would you say some of the biggest mistakes that people make are when either preparing for a public speaking engagement or delivering it?
I think a lot of people make the mistake of getting too quickly into the details. They start thinking about, okay, I'm going to talk about this, and they start creating their slides. And in fact, what you've got to do is resist that urge. You've got to step back and think more broadly at the start. What's my key message? Why is it important for the audience to know this? And how can I get this message then to the audience? If you think big picture first and then narrow in, you'll find that you probably cover less material, but you cover it well. Another mistake that a lot of speakers make, and it's really related, is they don't let the audience know early enough where they're going with their presentation. And I always tell people, I say, we have the 6 question words: who, what, where, when, why, and how. The why is so important when you speak in public. People in the audience need to know why this is important for them. And once they understand the why, then the how and the where and the when, all these other things become a whole lot easier for them to digest.
We've got kind of a tip at the end there. What are some other kind of tips you could give to people who are planning to do some public speaking or would like to do more in the future? Simplicity
is always a great thing. Don't try and cover 10 points, cover 2 or 3, cover them well. Many people are presenting on very complex topics, and if you've got a half hour, 40 minutes, there's no way you can cover anything anyway. You can always give people a handout. That's the first thing. Slow down when you're speaking. Too many people rush through their speech or presentation. Now, it's understandable. The adrenaline's going, they're a bit nervous, and they want to share the information. But when it comes out staccato, it becomes difficult for us in the audience to follow along. So in that same vein, get comfortable with pauses. And this is something when I work with people, it's very difficult for them to stand on stage, look at an audience of 100, make a statement, pause, because they think, everybody's looking at me, they think I forgot what I'm going to say, but really that's not the case. The audience is just thinking about the last thing that you've said.
John, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks for having me, Jack.
And thank you for watching. And remember, if you like this interview and would like to see more, then be sure to head over to dukascopy.tv.